Welcome, everyone, back to another amazing comedy show. This time done virtually because we can't stand the look of you. That's right. We're actually just doing this because we hate our audience and really are just sick of the way you laugh. Yeah. It's time you knew. Hey, John, are you there?
Yes.
Hi. Is it weird that I started off trying to alienate whatever audience we have and we've been acquiring for the past years?
I think the pandemic has made us switch roles because I'm generally in a more positive person now.
You really are. This is
you're more dark and cynical and hate-filled.
Yeah, and I'm hosting the show for some reason, and you're the person who's just there.
Yeah.
It's usually the other way around. Yeah, wow. Holy crap.
I'm thriving in the apocalypse.
And I'm becoming John Minus. That's a movie no one would pay to see. Becoming John Minus. No one.
They wouldn't even pirate it.
No, not at all. Hey, John, you had a rough day today. Tell us a little bit about it. Start us off. Because it's Thursday night. It is, believe it or not, Thursday night for those of you who've stopped keeping count. It's Thursday night. People want to get, excited before the long weekend.
So let's bring them down. Let's ruin everything.
Let's bring them down. First of all, your laughs are stupid, weird. Second of all, John, tell us a sad story about what happened to you today.
Yeah. So as people know, I have cancer, but it's the least impressive case of cancer in the world. Mm-hmm. Like at the first it was cool. Like I had a broken neck and like people were like, oh, but now it's like I have so little. Like I could right now, if I had like an ingrown toenail, it'd be a bigger issue than my cancer.
It would definitely cause you more pain directly.
Yeah. The cancer is really not a big deal.
It's the type of cancer you have when you're just trying to put on airs. Yeah. I want someone to have a parade for me.
It's the white women who claim about oppression of cancer. Oh. It's like, yeah, sure, you're kind of oppressed, but you're not like black people oppressed. Right. So like, I have cancer, but I'm not like stage 4 leukemia cancer.
Right.
But yeah, I still have to get immunotherapy to make sure it stays in remission. And that's annoying. I had to get stuck like 6 times with giant needles, and it was just more frustrating than anything.
Are nurses just bad, overworked, or they don't like black people?
Nurses are not bad. Some dislike black people.
Correct answer. Even pre-pandemic, correct answer.
No, I've had a lot of nurses in my family. And I work with nurses. I love nurses. Nurses are hot generally. Like they're more attractive than the average woman.
This went somewhere. We can't both be the heel on this. It doesn't work that way.
I was complimenting them. No, I'm the guy who's evil but thinks he's doing good.
Yeah, all right. Sounds good. Speaking of guys who are evil.
It's a compliment. Like when you say black people have excellent night vision. I was complimenting them.
I've not said that. Look at that. I love the bottom third. It's like context. Don't take any of this seriously. But yeah, you got stuck a couple of times. That happens to you every time you go to the doctor. I feel bad. We're going to cheer you up today. We got a great guest, right?
Yeah. Oh, yes, of course. Our guest today, he is co-host of the Medium
Popcorn, yeah.
Remember, cancer.
This is the guy that affects your brain, right?
Yeah, it totally brainwiped. The Medium Popcorn Popcast, and what's your Mayo? Ladies and gentlemen, give a big hand for Brandon Collins.
Hey, everybody.
At home, clap.
Woo!
Brandon Collins, the Medium.
John, did you just read What's Your Mayo?
Okay.
No, I read it 4 times, like in the last 10 minutes.
I love it.
It's What Kind of Mayo. It's a podcast I do that I revisit the old TV show Doug. Newsflash, it does not hold up. And I essentially try to disattain what the race of Patty Mayonnaise.
Oh man, so good.
I keep fluctuating between like a Jessica Alba kind of like mix of a bunch of stuff, or she's Dominican. That's what I've been
just doing. Dominican or a mix of
the first episode when Doug sees her, right, when he moves to Bluffington, like she stops him in his tracks. Like he stops moving his speed and he like falls over. And I'm like, the only chicks that have ever done that to multiple guys I know, including myself, are hot Dominican chicks. So that's my
but you're biased.
Fair enough.
But my wife is Puerto Rican. You know, they have that beef. So not all Spanish people like each other.
Do they? Don't they?
Yeah. Dude, yeah. If you ask a lot of Spanish women what they think about J-Lo, you're going to get a lot of hate.
I know about the colorism and everything and how they all hate each other. But like, do they really all look different? That's the funny thing. It's like colorism in black people. It's like we're all still black.
Yeah, but you know, there's different types of black. You know this.
Yeah, there's like I'm dark, so
you're midnight black. I'm like, you know.
My brother's black. I am black. Like just like I'm like fit all the requirements for black. I'm not super. My brother's darker than I am.
Oh, he's like a Wesley Snipes motherfucker.
Yeah, he would because he moved to the South and he was playing football for college. So he was out in that like Slave Son.
Yeah, the Green Mile.
Yeah, Green Mile son. That like cotton picking sun is way worse than the New Jersey sun. So yeah, it makes you much darker.
Cool. Now, people who are watching this
have tuned out because
that I didn't say anything for the last few minutes, and that's how you do it.
Well, Frank, do they have that in the Arab world? Because you know, there's different shades of.
There's definitely. Oh god.
Yeah, you got like Aladdin, Jafar.
There's all sorts of Disney villains and
Jasmine. What else?
The heroes, yes. No, yeah, there's definitely bias.
Like, are darker people biased against? Is it like darker is better or lighter is better?
I think it depends. I think it depends on the people, but like there definitely are biases. So you talk to somebody who's like, and then there's like the regional biases where like, oh, you're from this particular area of the country that was forged out of our traditional homeland, and that's never, you know what I mean? It's never good. It's never a good look.
Yeah, it's kind of like in the Harry Potter world where it's like Muggles and you know, mudbloods and stuff like that.
We have to have just like I mentioned, we have to have Nico White on to talk about Harry Potter.
Yeah,
he started his journey like recently, like in the last 2 years, and he has lots of opinions.
I thought I knew a lot about Harry Potter, and he was bringing up potions and all kinds of shit. I was like, nigga, do you go to Hogwarts?
Well, he's young, so you know how like when you're young, you can learn every single thing about something.
Like that's still like a couple of years too late to be learning things about Harry Potter.
Yeah, it's a bit wild, but you know, you learn something new every day, Frank.
I forget how young Nico is because he's been doing stand up for a long time. He's still pretty young, but yeah, the whole I love black nerds. Like when I started doing the Alter Negro show, like over 10 years ago, I was like I wasn't the only black nerd podcast, but I was the only one I knew of. And like black nerds were still like a new thing.
Yeah, that's when we had to hide in the sewers like the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, you know?
Yeah, but now we have like our own memes and our own like YouTube channels and 100 podcasts. And there's nothing. I post some of them on a non-productive site just so they can get more culture. But I love black anime videos. They're so funny.
Oh, you mean like with the voiceovers and stuff, or
any of them?
I think John's mostly talking about like Vines and I guess now TikTok. Yeah. 6 minutes of just young black suburban kids saying this is what Yu-Gi-Oh is, and then doing it live action. That's incredible.
But just the act of them being black is revolutionary.
And back in Ann Arbor, Michigan, before there's internet, though, so we were just ahead of our time.
Yeah, it was. I was like alone, so I didn't know anybody else. I grew up in a very white place too. We've bonded over that before. Although Michigan is whiter than New Jersey.
Oh yeah. Like there was
you have to go farther to find a black person in Michigan than you do in New Jersey. Like they may be segregated, but they're there.
There's pockets of black people. There's pockets of black people in Ann Arbor, Michigan, but it was just like if it's a classism thing, so it's separated a lot, like the race and stuff.
Oh yeah. I understand that.
But I definitely went to a town where like they filmed Scream 4 and I was like, oh yeah, that makes sense. Like that's the kind of town where a Ghostface Kill is going around like stabbing at white people. That's absolutely anarchic.
That makes sense. My favorite TikTok is this one black guy. He does all the different streaming services, and he just like makes them all as characters, all talking to each other, and it's just him in different costumes, and he's amazing. And I'm like, why does SNL have trouble finding black talent? Literally everywhere.
We don't have trouble. It's just that Kenan Thompson won't leave. He just refuses to leave. They're like, hey, Kenan, like you can go now. He's like, yeah,
black people never leave. I've noticed that about shows. Like when there's Donald Glover was the first person I think, like in my memory, he's the first black actor who left a show in its prime.
I don't know about that.
I feel like black people are usually forced out. Like, do you remember Sliders?
Washington from Grey's Anatomy?
Do you remember Sliders?
With Jerry O'Connell?
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, this is a thing that John and I used to talk about way back in the day. There, one guy who never left Sliders was the black guy, and then we try to make a formula on the chances you were going to leave a series and your melanin count.
Interesting. Sliders, how many seasons did they go on for? I just remember seeing
it had a decent run.
Damn.
I want to say 6, 7.
Wow, it was going for that long?
I feel like maybe not 7, but I feel like it had 6 because every year they kept changing cast members, and the one guy refused to leave. He's like, nope, you ain't getting rid of me.
All you
somebody else. I want to say Worf. Worf stayed on.
Yeah, Worf jumped ship after TNG's ended. He was like, nope, you ain't getting rid of me. I'm like, all right, I guess we can put you over here.
Sliders just had 5 seasons.
All right.
4 of those seasons, the original 3 seasons ran on the Fox. The 4th one was the move to sci-fi. Some of the cast was replaced, but not all of it.
I think one O'Connell was changed with another O'Connell.
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
You're correct.
Replaced with his brother? His brother?
Yep, the black guy was still on. And then they
have the wiki in front of you. Don't call him the black guy.
No. I don't have the wiki in front of me. I don't. I'm doing this all from memory.
That's worse.
And then the final season, he was still there, but all the rest of the cast changed, and they just recast a new actor as the original Jerry O'Connell character from like another world. And yeah,
it makes perfect.
I mean, I didn't watch.
You're there.
That was I think I watched the premiere of that episode and then I left. Okay, hi, I'm the producer.
Yeah, James, you were introduced. Get the hell out of here! Don't drop in with freaking.
No, that was kind of.
We've got about 10 people watching right now. If you have any questions, put them into the any of the comments. We'll see them. Oh, we actually do have comments. I should probably look at those.
Y'all remember Jerry O'Connell got shot in Scream 2?
Damn.
Yeah. I just remember I was like, he went out like a punk in that movie.
I want to pull up. Can you pull up Darren Patterson's comment right now? Because I want to bring this back to Doug. Why Patty Mayonnaise? Why are you concerned? Because there was a lot of characters on that show. You could not tell what race. It's like the number 2 show from childhood. Yeah. That and Arthur. You're like, what's the deal? Like, what's what? What's a blue person? What's a rabbit?
Yeah.
Why Patty Mayonnaise?
I mean, it's because Patty has this brown complexion, yellow hair, but she has a Southern accent. And you're kind of like, okay, a lot of people just assume she's a white girl because of the Southern accent. But then I'm like, yeah, but if you look at Doug's complexion, he's like, he's pale. Like there's other white people, distinctive white people. And then Patty's dad was like really dark. And you're just like, we don't know anything about the mom. I'm like, there's something here. She's not white. There's a little mix in here.
I sincerely hope this podcast goes on for another 20 years.
I'm trying to figure it out, man. I'm talking to them. A lot. One person thinks that she's black.
Yeah, but we just claim people.
The other one thought that she was white. So we're all over the spectrum right now.
We just match people up with cartoons. We do that a lot.
Yeah.
We're like, no, he's black.
Good question. Doug from Nick or Disney's Doug? Is that included?
Doug from Nick. I'm not doing Disney's Doug.
Come on, man. Take this seriously. Yeah. We're not doing Disney's Doug.
No, the animation changed, the story changed, they changed up the character arc. It was just terrible. And then they gave us Doug's first movie, which is absolutely trash. And he never got a second movie. So that tells you all you need to know about the first one.
Good.
There's always a bad omen when you say something's first movie. Because if you don't get a second one, it's like, well, all right.
Yeah, this sounds like the Who's the Boss class on Community. Remember how Ben took the Who's the Boss class?
And they found out who the boss is. Yeah,
that sounds like what you're doing, Brandy.
100% was Angela though. Like Angela was the boss. I mean, literally. The boss.
You're a perfect person to ask this. The sequel to that episode is Nicolas Cage a good actor or a bad actor?
In what respect? He's one of the most entertaining actors of all time. He's one of I don't think he's a good actor, even though I will say when he actually has really good material, he can do a phenomenal performance. I'm talking about Leaving Las Vegas, Raised in Arizona, adaptation. He can like bring it home. But when he's just like kind of let loose, he's cuckoo fucking bananas. The Wicker Man, Face Off, Con Air, Mandy, that recent movie he did with demons and shit. He is out of his fucking rocker. And
dangerous, yes.
You cannot look at it. Like Mom and Dad, he was insane. And it was so entertaining for an hour and a half. Like I'm just gonna watch Nicolas Cage lose his shit on teenagers.
But see, that I would argue many people would argue that's the good Nicolas Cage.
The crazy unhinged one.
The Con Air Nicolas Cage is the good Nicolas Cage.
I think it's the range, right? Like he goes from like this guy is just a crazy person they put in a movie to he can act
in the same sentence.
Sometimes, yeah.
I just remember because that was the I think everybody's been rewatching Community now. That was the episode that was the class that broke Abed. Because is Nicolas Cage a good actor or not? It broke him because he was just spinning in a circle, like when you take a magnet to the North Pole and they can't find the North. Yeah,
I gotta rewatch that show, man. I only go back to season 3 of Community because it has, my opinion, one of the top 5 best sitcom episodes of all time, which is when they played a video game. When Juan
I just watched that one.
It's such a good episode. It's so funny, so creative.
I watch I hate saying this because it sounds so pretentious, but I'm trying to write for TV now. So I'm reworking my script. I finished it, but I'm reworking it, and I watch Community. I'm like, how do they write this? Because I'm like so impressed. Yeah. And I'm like, if you watch it, the show tells you how to write it. It's so meta. And if you watch Rick and Morty tells you how to write Community. Like they're both kind of classes on TV.
Has the formula, yeah.
They're both master classes on television. Family Guy to an extent too, but not as much because Family Guy is so rooted in sitcom lore. So
you still watch Family Guy?
Yeah, I mean, American Dad is better, but like the thing is, every now and then you get a gem out of Family Guy. You get like their bottle episode with Stewie and Brian in a bank was like a stage play.
That was good.
It was really good.
Cleveland show was the best though because it was the most TGIF.
I like the Cleveland show.
That was the correct answer.
Yeah, Cleveland.
Right. We just went like we've talked about medium popcorn and then expected everyone to know what it was. Can you tell us a little bit about your other podcast that isn't about?
Yeah, Medium Popcorn, Niggas Spoiling Movies. That's a movie podcast I do with my friend Justin Brown. It's Rotten Tomatoes accredited, which means every episode there's actually someone who works at Rotten Tomatoes that has to listen to our podcast and kind of summarize the review and adds the final take onto like the tomato meter, which I feel terrible. Shout out to Steven from Rotten Tomatoes. And And yeah, we do new and old. It's a very good variety of movies. And there's no like central theme. It's just like all over the place. Like for instance, last week we did In Too Deep. This week we did John Henry. Next week we have Anaconda. Like it's just all over the fucking place.
So all the movies, do you like get introduced to new movies with the podcast, or is it like just these are movies I've already seen and
like you mean do we get offered like opportunities to watch new movies and stuff like that, or
no? I meant like you would have never watched whatever movie, but Mike says let's watch it. So
our listeners like usually dictate like movies. Like we'll have our own list of movies that we want to watch and review, and then we have like the new movies where like we definitely have to review these, not just for Rotten Tomatoes, but just because they're new and like people are going to want our take on it, because we do go in detail about the movie. So we spoil movies and let people know like, hey, if it's worth seeing or not.
Right.
And then we also, because we're part of like some critics groups, because we do like Tribeca Film Festival, New York Film Festival, we get access to like independent films and screeners and stuff like that.
Nice, very cool.
Yeah,
I'm going to ask in a little bit what's the best and worst movie you've ever watched for the show, but I want to segue because we're 20 minutes in already, and we promised everyone we're going to be talking about this. Big news just dropped, I think today, because time is meaningless. They are releasing the Snyder Cut.
Yep.
Was it today? I thought it was yesterday.
Who the hell knows, man? It's
Frank's just like, hey man, I'm breathing. That's all I care about.
Am I the only nerd geek type person who doesn't care?
I don't think so. I think for me, like I think it's crazy. I think it's like kind of impressive that the fandom was that big that Warner Brothers like, yeah, we'll throw $20 million in. But then when you think about it, they're doing this on HBO Max. And it's because they have no content coming out on HBO Max that puts it apart from Amazon, Netflix, all these other things. Because right now, all these other streamers are creating new content. Netflix, Hulu, and Amazon are killing it right now. But fucking everyone else is just left in dust, including Disney Plus, besides having The Mandalorian coming out soon. So they needed content, and they were like, hey, a lot of your nerd friends want this stuff. Why not put your account together? But it's going to destroy the continuity. They're trying to veer away from Zack Snyder's direction. So why would you release a 4-hour cut of a completely different story that changed the continuity of what Joss Whedon did?
So this, and just to answer John your question, because I think like if whoever's watching this, if they're one camp or the other, they want us to shit on it or they want us to like praise it one way or the other. It's really weirdly dividing. I am also in the, I'm happy for you. I'm happy you got what you wanted. Literally, this is what you wanted. No, if this was your thing, cool. But this is what I think. This is a thing. Like Brandon said, I think this is something like basically the lockdown gave us. Yeah. I think we're all shut in. Productions have ground to a halt.
Yep, they need new content here.
They're gonna spend $30 million or $20 million. I think I heard $30 million to finish up this movie, just so that we can have something to watch. Even though this is predicted to be launched well after we're out of lockdown. Hopefully, it's like in 2021. But I guess it's weird for me. And again, I'm not talking bad about what you like. For me, it's like nothing of what I've seen in this universe in any of these movies was that great. So the idea that I watched Justice League and I'm like, this could have been better if it had more of Batman versus Superman. I'm like, that was completely the Snyder Cut and it was terrible. Why? I don't get it.
That's literally every DC movie of the last like 10 years. Like you're like, there was a good movie here. Like and I feel it the same way about Suicide Squad, which was a terrible movie, but there was a good movie in there. There was. Yeah. And every time they got close to that movie, they veered away as hard as they could.
Warner Brothers also didn't have a vision, so they were just kind of all over the place. Like I will say in Batman vs Superman's defense, I still hate it. But if you watch the director cut, which is like an extra 20 minutes, it actually flushes out some stories where it makes more sense. Like, okay. Zack Snyder's out of his goddamn mind. I mean, he shot Jimmy Olsen like 20 minutes into the movie. He's a psychopath. But I will say, like, I don't think seeing his version of Justice League is going to make me like it better. I think maybe it'll like be less shoddy because you could definitely tell when they rushed the reshoots because Ben Affleck was bloated in some of those retakes. The first 5 minutes, I remember hating the movie, like Justice League. I was immediately like to my wife, I was like, I hate this movie because the green screen with Batman when he's catching this burglar, I'm like, this is stupid. It looks terrible.
It doesn't make sense that their production values are so low.
No,
that's what it looks. Actually, no, I won't even, because people, and I said it too. TV Flash looks better than movie Flash.
Yeah,
like if you like some of the, especially the first season, like when he's learning his speed, and like some of the scenes are amazing.
You know what
in Flash on the TV show.
That's lighting. That's having fun with the characters, which is not Snyder's vision. Really, he has a much more grim take on things, much more video game aesthetic. Listen, we keep getting. I'm sure the Snyder fans are already like, pissed that this video is even being made. I get it. If that was your aesthetic, if you did enjoy Man of Steel, Batman versus Superman, etc., then I'm glad you're going to get a chance to get something a little bit better, more. And I think with that much money and that much time, remember the worst thing that Justice League did is lead with that mustache thing, that horrible mustache CGI. You've got $30 million to fix it, and you could probably afford to pay the guy to shave. Fix that error alone, and you've got a better movie.
I think they're bringing them back to cash just for ADR. I think they have the footage they need. They just have to finish the effects and and just do some ADR if they need to be. But yeah, I mean that mustache was terrible. I will say the one part of Justice League that I definitely know was Zack Snyder, because he said we saw like not even a quarter of what he did, was the close up on Wonder Woman's ass when she's fighting the guys at the White House or whatever the fuck. Because I was like, Wonder Woman went so far out of their way to not have like an ass shot or anything like gratuitous like that. And Zack Snyder was like, her first scene, yeah, look at that Wonder Woman ass. It's like, all right.
It took 14 days to shoot that ass.
Zack Snyder is Mark Miller that people haven't figured out he's bad yet. I feel like people have figured out Mark Miller is bad. And
have you seen Sucker Punch?
Huh?
Have you seen Sucker Punch?
That was a long time ago.
Zack Snyder's been bad for a while, man.
Yeah, I know. He's my most hated person in all creative areas. I hate Zach. I hate Mark Miller. I don't use that word much anymore. I hate Mark Millar. He's ruined everything I love.
I'm the only one who doesn't care about this.
What? Mark Millar?
No, you started this with. Am I the only one who doesn't care
about Zack Snyder?
Yeah,
but I think Zack Snyder is people haven't figured out he's bad yet.
Yeah, you're saying Mark Millar's words. Okay, before we get into that, I want to show, just to give you an idea of that we are not the target audience, which is crazy for me. A geek the way I am, I didn't see Justice League in theaters, and it wasn't like a political thing. I forgot about it. I was so uninterested after the last two. I didn't see Batman and Superman either, but like from the look of it, it didn't look good, and I hated Man of Steel. I just did not like Man of Steel. No. By the time Justice League got out, I forgot about it, and I'm like, I was driving to work one day going, there's a Justice League movie, and I didn't even care enough to see it. That blows me away. But we are not, even though we may be geeks or we may like genre films, we're not the target audience. Check out this HBO Max teaser that got dropped.
Here we go. 3, 2, 1, play.
Hey guys, thought I might crash your little watch party.
I have a question that is the mother of all our questions as a fandom. When will you release the Snyder Cut?
There it is.
Yes.
There it is. It's a hard question. I don't know. What do you think, Henry?
I reckon you should show it.
We're doing it, so get ready.
Oh my god.
really don't want to be the kind of person who mocks the people who are in that video, because but for
her teeth, man,
would be me. No.
Her teeth were distracting. I was like, is she gonna ask what is Zack Snyder gonna get her dental insurance? What is the question?
Oh,
that was.
But yeah, no, I mean, but think of it like, I don't know if you're a big a Marvel movie fan, and this is not a make mine Marvel DC kind of thing. I love DC characters. I love fun movies. I don't mind seeing a superhero movie. I love it. But I really did. I think Marvel did an amazing job for 10 years, and Civil War Endgame was such a culmination. Even Avengers, the original Avengers, was such a culmination. So I want these fans to have that moment, and if it means having it on HBO Max with a grim, dark thing where everybody kills each other and somebody's named Martha, so that makes it better. Fine, whatever makes you happy.
Have you ever seen them make fun of that on Teen Titans?
No, I've not.
Teen Titans Go. They make fun of the DC movies a lot in the background, as Easter eggs. Yeah. They were in their closet once, and there was a box marked Dawn of Justice, and then there was a Noon of Justice, and then there was an Evening of Justice. And there was a one box called Harley Quinn's hair dye. It was they did a Martha joke too.
Brandon, you were going to say something before John interrupted recounting. There you go.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No worries. I'm trying to remember what I was going to say though. You were talking about
I want them to have this.
Yeah, I was just going to say they're not going to get that though, because the movies are all over the place, and what happened with Endgame, even for Marvel, forget that, because Marvel's not going to be able to do that.
I want them to have this. Yeah, I was just going to say. Is that on John's end?
I think so, because he just whispered all shit.
Yeah. All right. We'll just mute you.
Something's not going right with such
Yeah, I guess so. I think that the argument is that they like them, right? They have consistently liked them. So whatever it is, when I looked at Batman versus Superman, and I'm like, no, they said yes more.
That was a decent Batman. Here's the thing, he
was a good Batman.
My favorite comic book character. I thought when I saw Batman v Superman, I'm like, Zack Snyder wanted to do a Batman movie, but he couldn't. So this was his in between, because that Batman fight scene was incredible, even though he kills people.
He definitely kills
people. And I was just like, oh, but this is a really cool Batman scene.
He did not know he was muted. John, you're muted, so you're unmuted now. What's up?
Oh, is that the one where he was in an abandoned building? That scene?
Yeah, he's throwing boxes and smashing people's skulls and shooting guns.
Yeah.
Not bad.
If the gun is air propelled, it's not a gun. That's Batman's theory, I guess. No. So it's interesting. It's crazy and I don't know what's going to happen for movies in the next year. We were talking about this, I think, in pre-production. I don't think we said this on air, but personally, first movie I think I saw this year was Cats, ironically. And the last movie I saw in theater was Sonic the Hedgehog.
Same. I have to rectify this. I did not know when I've seen that Jim Carrey at completely in a different movie that was going to be the last film I saw in theaters.
I thought that it might, but only because something bad was going to happen in the Sonic theater. Not months later, we weren't allowed to leave. Yeah, man, this is crazy. What if it wins the Academy Award? Who would you give it to? Would you give it to Sonic or Cats?
I mean, Cats was gonna get it was eligible last year, so
you're right.
I mean, I think they'd just rather cancel. I mean, if their choices were like Sonic and Trolls, they'd be like, nope. I'm like, nope. I'm not gonna spend my whole ceremony being surrounded by Ben Schwartz and Justin Timberlake. I'm good.
Hey, I like Ben Schwartz. He's amazing. He's amazing on DuckTales.
He was a listen. I like the animation. I think if Sonic had just been computer animated, I would have been digging that, because they had echidnas at the beginning and stuff, and Tails at the end. I was like, I could have done with that, but it was fine. It was like a solid B-.
James Marsden definitely has a niche. He does.
Oh yeah, I remember he did it.
He it's with CGI animals, or he's the boyfriend for the female lead who ends up going with a different guy. Whether he's Cyclops or that guy from Westworld, spoiler alert, or anybody else.
Yep.
Yeah, that's true. They are not accepting movies that were not in theater, so Trolls wouldn't even be counted. So here's what we're going to do. We are going to limited release movies. Oh, James, what's up?
They are accepting movies that haven't been in theaters.
Oh, they are.
Yes, they announced. Yeah, so we don't have to give it to Sonic. I mean, clearly it's going to win, but you know,
get the hell out of here. You are a Sonic apologist. That's an established thing about James. Fans will know. All right. So,
I mean, that movie was kind of like there's a fun dark story to Sonic if you think about the way that movie panned out, like the way they played it out with him being alone and watching people. I'm like, oh, he's like jerking off in bushes and like he's running around blowing up the town and stuff. Sonic was creepy in that movie.
You really need to relieve this lockdown has to end, or else you're going to keep putting out podcasts. Just weirder, more focused podcasts.
I'm gonna make a podcast called Sonic the Hedgehog Peeping Tom, or no? Let's investigate.
Make it as serious as Serial. Like that kind of production value.
Just as serious as Serial. Can you do an NPR voice?
Hello, everyone. Today I was thinking about what if Sonic was a pervert.
It's near, but we're gonna have to set up the mic a little bit. Yeah,
I mean, I got a soundboard for that. That's why you
have to really get inside the mic.
You
sounds like all NPR people are inside the mic.
I feel like if I get closer to the microphone, I sound like Bane.
Am I blowing out your speakers? I'm Frank, and yeah, that's basically.
Oh, the little pumpkin boy. Oh, Gotham.
Mayo.
That movie ruined Bane for all time. The Dark Knight movie. Because whenever you see Bane after that, he's always got that weird accent.
Yeah, I like the animated series Bane, where he had a Latin American accent. I don't know which he was from. He was very erudite.
Yeah, he was like smooth and smart and like Mexican, and then they took all of that away from him.
Have you watched the Harley Quinn show?
Yes, he's funny.
He's the best part of the show.
Funny on that show.
Did you know that they have trinkets at this?
Many sexually active adults have HPV. That was like the beginning where it was like, yes.
He says really funny lines. You're just like, what?
Yes.
It's a fun voice to hear, to be honest, and that's the Achilles heel. I don't know if we're going to get the Ricardo Montalban voice back, but here's hoping.
My co-host Justin, he was an extra on Dark Knight Rises during the big fight scene at the end with the cops.
Wait, no, go ahead.
Between the cops and Bane's crew or whatever.
Oh yeah.
He said when you see Batman and Bane in person, they look fucking ridiculous. You're just seeing Bane with that coat, that mask. I was like, he looks out of his goddamn mind. It's the silliest thing in the world.
It's a really bad character design.
Speaking of masks and COVID, how are you handling it? What are you up to these days, trying to stay sane?
You're talking to me or John?
Brandon, I don't care about John.
Oh, I'm losing my mind, dude.
Yeah,
I'm like trying to keep it up. I'm like reading. I'm playing God of War. Trying to do some exercise. I think I did like 10 push-ups today. I'm cooking a lot though. I'm cooking a lot, which is nice. But I'm watching a lot of porn, man. I got nothing else to do. Just watch porn. Started watching Euphoria, which my friend Chris Lambert said was a fun show. I think he and I have very different definitions of what fun is.
I think so too.
Show. The fact that I have a sister-in-law who's 17, I'm like, this is what her generation is doing. We ain't have no kids. Trying to keep it alive, stay alive, man.
I feel bad for you people in New York because it's harder. Like it's hard for us in North Jersey, but it's harder, and especially since so many. I only know comics in New York basically, and all of you live in Brooklyn and Astoria. That's where all of you are, and that's the worst. Those are the two worst places in the country. So I feel for you guys.
I mean, it's been good. I got a backyard, so like if I just want to get away from my wife, I just go outside and sit in the sun.
I don't feel bad for you anymore.
John's loneliness, is this the one place he hasn't gotten better? He's very much a character from Dragon Ball where he's showing up. He's like, this is just a fraction of my power. But then like remind him that he's alone and he gets smaller in the frame. Look how small he is. Why are you sitting back so far, John?
Well, I was going to say he looks like the Grinch on top of the hills of evil. Yeah, down at me like all of them.
I'm Vegeta. I am Vegeta.
I bring this up because like I couldn't believe that there would be a Justice League movie I didn't want to see. And I can't believe that now it's socially acceptable to wear masks everywhere and people are like having a problem with it. I thought we would be like full Watchmen by now. I can't
that show's ahead of its time. Definitely.
It's a trip.
I'm just worried about the time when, everyone's required to wear a mask, but then people like John and I, like we're wearing our mask and then it becomes a crime of some sort. They're going to turn that back around with us. And Frank, you're a little dark too, man. You might be in the club with us.
Oh, yeah, definitely. No, there's
worried about that turn of the tides.
Too much Jafar.
You're too much Jafar in your complexion.
Did you see his mustache? It was twirly.
Which one? Are we talking about the live one or the animated Jafar?
Animated. I did not like the live action. I can't take the Disney remakes. More power to the people who like them. I haven't liked any of them.
Not my Jasmine.
Yeah.
Not my Jasmine.
I'm not a Disney person in general. Like outside of, I just did Ray Goot's podcast and we were talking about like, I don't fuck with Disney outside of the Disney afternoon. And that's it.
Oh, like Goof Troop and stuff like that?
Oh, Goof Troop.
It's a hard stop right before Goof Troop.
Yeah,
right.
Literally, that's when I stopped watching. It was right before Goof Troop. I had to.
Gargoyles.
I've been writing reviews of this season of DuckTales, and I had to go back and because there's an episode that is based off of Quack Pack, and I had to go back and research Quack Pack because I don't remember watching it, and I actually had to look up Goof Troop too because Goof Troop is very popular among Black people because of Tevin Campbell, because of Powerline. Did you know this, Frank?
Yo, oh my God.
Goof Troop is very popular among Black people. And I had no idea.
I just like that you've lost your one fan. Yep.
So on my podcast regarding a Goofy movie, we did that with a friend of the show, I imagine, Dylan Stevenson. I know at least John's really good friends with Dylan. So Justin Brown was convinced that Black people did not fuck with a Goofy movie. They did not care for Powerline. And I was like, I bet you have to perform as Powerline in Times Square. If we do a poll. And he was like, sure, I'm up for it. We did the poll. He lost. And then he actually performed dressed up as Powerline in Times Square. I will get you the link. Maybe close the show out with this. But it's one of the craziest things I've ever been a part of.
Goof Troop was definitely the precursor to Cleveland Show. It was definitely it goes Amen 227 Goof Troop.
I didn't realize how sitcom-y Quack Pack and Goof Troop were, like traditional sitcom format they were. Yeah. Like that's why when they did the DuckTales episode of Quack Pack, it was just like it felt like they were parodying that, but they weren't. They were really just doing Quack Pack. I didn't realize how exceptional it was. Super 90s. It was super 90s, and like in writing these reviews, I've had to go back and look at them, and I was like, oh, I guess Goof Troop was about its time, but like I had moved on to Cartoon Network by then. Mm-hmm. I'm talking
Bonkers was right out, right?
Bonkers was an abomination. I'm talking about from Gummy Bears to Gargoyles.
Oh, I forgot about Gummy Bears. Holy shit!
Gummy Bears was man. It was my gateway drug for gaming. For D&D.
For D&D, yeah. Look, I like this setting. I mean, it was, and the theme song, and you're like singing the theme song, and then you're into it. and then you went to Rescue Rangers, and then you went to DuckTales. A lot of them happened concurrently too. You went to Rescue Rangers, you went to DuckTales, you went to Darkwing, and that's a amazing universe.
I'm still hoping we're going to get a boom in animation because of this. Because I mean, production companies, it's not like you shoot in person; you can animate in private. All right. Well, listen, we gotta make sure we cover all our bases. We got like about 15 minutes left with you. We told everybody. All right. No, before that, David Patterson has a very important question. Put that up on the screen, please. Thoughts on Freakazoid?
You know, I didn't watch Freakazoid as much as I wanted to, but it was good. But like that was again, I was kind of trailing off of that line of cartoons at that time too. But Freakazoid was funny.
It was amazing. It was from the Animaniacs kind of WB. Tiny Toons. Yeah. Freakazoid, best theme song.
He kind of looked like he almost looked like a villain that you would see on like Batman the animated series a little bit.
Yeah.
That really creepy guy. I can't remember his name anymore, but he populated a lot of memes since then, and he's just creepy and Freakazoid is like, who's that guy? He's gonna do something great. It was very third wall breaking. Loved it. All right.
I wish some of these shows were on. Not necessarily Adult Swim, but maybe like a Toonami type of censorship level. Because imagine like Freakazoid basic cable.
I don't know. I think you get like once you're allowed to do more, you get lazier.
Not that much more. Just like maybe Archer level. Because I know what you're talking about, but like I don't know. It's just a thought. But yeah, no, I'm a big my biggest fan of all those is I like the Tiny Toons more than Maniacs. So I'm in a minority.
I like Tiny Toons more too.
Oh well,
Animaniacs was a bit like I don't want to say raunchy. It was just like it was kind of along the veins of like Ren and Stimpy too much for me that I was just kind of like I can do without this.
I just thought the Warner Brothers and Dot are freaking annoying. Like, but hey, James.
I'm throwing in. I'm throwing in with this. I also like Tiny Toons, and I think it's continuity in comedy, right? Mm-hmm. Tiny Toons. It had said some continuing stories. It had, it wasn't just a sketch show, right?
Yeah,
and that's it for me. That's what always gets me. Always.
Yeah,
all right.
There's a whole nother discussion about
We just left.
Continuity in cartoons these days, but
Frank, you literally just sell us a couch from Jennifer Convertibles.
The correct answer is I was trying to remember the name. Hysteria
was great. Hysteria was amazing.
No.
Yes. Yes, Hysteria was great.
I'm saying the Tasmanian Devil.
Tasmania was great.
Oh, John.
Tasmania was.
Just so many questions I had.
I know all his damn buttons. It's unbelievable, and he has so many stupid ass buttons. I don't know if Tasmania was that great.
That's what I'm saying.
Tasmania was really funny. It's just that Taz was the least interesting part of the show. But they had like the wolf. I can't remember his name, but he was like a combination of like Richard Lewis and he was like an erotic Jewish wolf. He was such a great character, and Bushwhacker Bob and just.
You still remember these names?
I watched everything. This is why I'm not a movie guy. You're a movie guy. I can't talk movies like you can. Very few people can talk cartoons like I can. Cartoons are my thing.
Yeah, I don't even think the creators of Tasmanian or whatever Tasmania would even say that show is like.
They don't remember. They have no.
Had an amazing theme song too. Welcome to the land that's way under, down under. The sky's always yellow, whether rain or shine. Down in Tasmania, it's a good show.
It's a good show. I remember liking it. I like the father talk like Bing Crosby.
Yeah. His parents were. Yeah.
All right. See that John's eyes opened up real bright, so I gave him something good. He could calm down now. We have a. Do we have a clip that we? I don't know what this is. Brandon, do you have a thing you want to show?
So there's the clip that I was mentioning with my my co-host from Medium Popcorn. He performed dressed up as Powerline in the middle of Times Square.
Oh, nice.
And it's. I don't know if the sound's there, but
do we not check the thing
it's
for
okay.
sound?
You can just see it. All you have to do is just like watch it a little bit, just get an idea.
To be honest, it's perfect without sound.
Yeah, it was very disturbing seeing Justin with all of his glory like that.
That is beautiful.
That's why you can't make bets with Brandon Collins who end up almost naked in Times Square.
I also like to that we
is
know
excellent
that
cosplay. That is
our
excellent
producer is
cosplay.
into Death Battle, and SNL. Good, and there's a lot of softcore porn.
That sounds about right for my my. Oh no, that was James.
That was James, our producer James.
Right.
Yes.
I was like,
You guys have notes to share after the show. All right, we told people we're going to do this. We have like 9 minutes left to do it. We might as well. Let's go into we're doing a mid-May madness because time is meaningless, and also because we're bored. So we're doing a bracket competition, and we picked arcade games, best arcade video games. So we can bring up the bracket right now, which is impossible to see, but we'll zoom in. And if there's any things that we want to talk about, like that sing to us, we could call them out. We don't have to talk about every battle if we don't want to. I think my favorite one is literally the first match, which is going to be Street Fighter 2 Turbo versus Root Beer Tapper. Bam! Battle of the century.
That's the one where you slide the drinks down the bar, right?
That's the one you get all like manic about because you have to get the drinks to them on time.
It really does make you a little OCD because you're like,
the generation of servers in New Jersey. I'm just saying.
Burger Time too. Was Burger Time arcade?
There was an arcade machine. Almost all the old video games are arcade machines too.
Yeah.
Only recently did things become like console only.
I think we skipped Burger Time was
nobody nominated that. Anything on that list? Maybe we could zoom in a little bit more since there's a lot of squinting.
I can see it.
Okay, sure.
Yep.
I should have. Gauntlet was a franchise too. I forgot about that.
Yeah, but I mean Tekken. You got to do Tekken against Street Fighter. That's going to be great.
Well, that's not a round one matchup.
Yeah,
actually,
Street Fighter's moving on to the next round in Tekken. That would be a good fight.
That is good, but Tekken isn't next to Street Fighter. Mortal Kombat's next to Street Fighter.
Well, yeah, but I'm just going off of this bracket,
Yeah.
Honestly, Turtles in Time is the unsung
you have to go with that.
hero of the Konami things. Because everybody remembers the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles original game, which I think is on this list. You remember the Simpsons with the 4 players.
Yep. So much. I beat both of those at Barcade a few months ago.
Oh man, Arcade is amazing.
Yeah.
The side scrolling X-Men, the beat 'em up X-Men with 6 players.
Yeah, we have that one, and we also have the Children of the Atom.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think Simpsons might run away with this part of the
really good
Street. If the fighting people get in here, Street Fighter's got it. But if like the average geeks, I think Simpsons is like mix of fighting game, side scroller. I think it's fun. I think
the animation's still pretty solid. Like for them to like could translate that to a interactive game like that, I was very impressed.
You think with our demographics, Simpsons is going to beat Mortal Kombat?
I think it will beat Mortal Kombat, and I think it'll beat Street Fighter, and I think it's even going to beat Marvel versus Capcom. I think it's gonna. There's a lot of people there who don't play video games much, so they're gonna come in and vote for the franchise they know.
But everybody knows Mortal Kombat.
Yeah, but if you don't play video,
Mortal Kombat is solid, but like I feel like Simpsons, I played it with a bunch of people that are like, oh my god, I remember this game. This is amazing. We spent probably conservatively about $15 each beating it.
Wow, you guys suck.
Wow,
thanks, John.
All right, this one, House of the Dead was cool because you got to sit down, and if you were lucky enough to go there with somebody,
That's the oldest thing you've ever said.
I actually meant sit down with somebody you were on a date with, but you're right. It is the oldest thing I've ever said still.
I remember playing, was it House of Dead 2 that came out on the Dreamcast?
Yeah, I think so. I think
I remember playing that one. But yeah, the original, that definitely beats Duck Hunt. That's for sure.
Yeah, I put Duck Hunt is 16 because it's better known as a console game. So I don't think it. I forgot about Operation Wolf. Operation Wolf was a staple. Cruising USA was a staple. Bubble Bobble was what the girlfriends of the guys who dragged them to the arcade played.
That's sexist.
Bubble Bobble.
Inaccurate. No, Bubble Bobble started Puzzle Fighter. It started Bubble Bobble, and Tetris had a baby. They did Candy Crush. All these like mobile games.
Bust a Move. For
some reason, we have Virtua Cop. That's not
I remember that. That was a weird game, but just out of name recognition, I'd probably go with that. But NBA Jam, I mean, come on, guys, you got it. They had that at Alamo Draft House, and I played that for probably about 30 minutes before I had to go see a movie. It's so bad, but it's so good.
Do you remember the movie you saw?
No.
NBA Jam is part of pop culture.
That's how big NBA Jam was. You don't remember the movie, but you remember the game. All right. Let's spend a couple of minutes on the other side so we can get this over with and go back to.
Can I just say though, real quick, Jurassic Park: The Lost World is a really hard game.
Yeah, no, totally. It was another sit-down ride, but it was like 8 quarters, or at that point, probably like.
Oh no, I paid off a paycheck trying to beat that game.
All right, we got the Pac-Man. Miss Pac-Man cannot be defeated. I think even by Pong. I don't know how Pong became a 16 seed. I guess
it's 4 pixels. Come on, man.
Yeah. All right. Spy Hunter was good. Spy Hunter was fun, but Rampage is awesome.
Yeah, you gotta go Rampage. Okay,
on old style games here: Space Invaders, Frogger, Missile Command, Centipede. Not much to say about any of these. Donkey Kong is awesome. All right, did you ever play Dragon's Lair?
Can I say fuck Dragon's Lair?
Yes.
I always lose money in the arcade, but I have a Raspberry Pi where I could play it at home, and I still fucking lose. Like I can't get through this thing, and they keep showing you the cutscenes of the princess being turned into the creature, and you lose, and you're like, of course I'm gonna lose. This whole thing's a freaking fraud.
It was literally too much for me to handle emotionally. Like it was too graphic for me. Like I don't want to see my hero turned into a pile of bones. I'm like, what is this, Disney? What is this?
I want to highlight some comments we've missed. For some reason, Pac-Man from my wife doesn't. I don't know why it was a question. Thanks, dear. And Tapper is the bomb. How about Bomberman? He's literally the bomb.
Yeah, that was a big deal for a while. I think didn't that become? They have like online like Bomberman tournaments.
They definitely have those. Dragon's Lair could not have. I want to see someone speed run Dragon's Lair because I don't think you could do it. I think the best you could do is just watch whatever the laser disc was.
Yep, that's. I literally just pulled it up on YouTube. They had the DVD playthrough. That's it. Like I would have no idea how that story pans out.
Yeah, there's no way. There's like a light, and you move this bowl. It's a lie. All right, let's look at that last
so much
division. All right, Tetris. That's going to be hard to beat. Star Wars.
So I didn't know what Star Wars is referring to though, because there's so many Star Wars games. I had no idea which one this was.
I think that's the problem. The one we've been talking about is the original Star Wars, the vector graphic thing. You sat in like the big booth.
Oh no. Okay.
That's not bad. I mean, I think it's a dated game, definitely, but I would love to have that machine in my house. That would be awesome.
If it's a Star Wars Racer, I'd be like, you gotta go with Racer.
That's good. Yeah, you got to actually ride the speeder bikes and stuff. Yeah. That's cool. I don't know what Sonic Hedgehog that is. It's not Sonic the Hedgehog from Genesis.
I looked it up. It's it actually looks kind of nice. It looks hard. It's a roller game. It almost looks like a phone game.
Oh, okay.
Like the you have to roll him to move him, and there's a jump button, and the terrain's really hard. So you have to avoid the terrain.
Our resident Sonic expert has invited himself in. This is the second Sonic interruption you got this show.
It's weird that this on the list, just because that arcade cabinet is like super rare. I think there were only like 6 or 7 in the United States, period.
Oh damn!
And there weren't that many. There were like 100 and something in Japan. I mean, it's a cool game, but it's essentially non-existent.
Take it up with the commissioner, man. But yeah, I get it. I thought that was Puzzle Fighters in there. That's pretty cool. I think the game to beat in this may actually be Dance Dance Revolution, because it's the only one of its kind in this entire thing, in this entire tournament.
That's true.
This one is heavy games I actually played. I played TMNT. I didn't do DDR too much. I wasn't that coordinated. I played Smash TV. Paperboy I was really into. But again, that's a Nintendo. It's both. I was really into Paperboy. 1942 is the only top-down shooter on this whole. No, I think there's another one.
Well, I think
interesting
bracket. Which let's pull out of the bracket. Which game do you think is going to run away with things? John, you go first. Which game do you think is going to win?
It should be Street Fighter. Because Street Fighter is the definition of like it's what you think of in an arcade. But it might be Pac-Man. I mean, there's no Sailor Moon in this one, so it's hard. It's a little bit harder to call.
Yeah. How about you, Brandon? Which one?
I don't know, man. I'm looking back at the list. I'm gonna go with really The Simpsons is really, really good. When I think about my personal like arcade nostalgia. And Turtles in Time for me, like those were my go-to games because I love playing with my friends and like I literally like had the biggest nostalgic moment when I was at Barcade playing those.
Yeah, I think those are solid picks.
Soul Calibur, don't sleep on Soul Calibur though.
No, Soul Calibur is a big deal, but it's not as big a deal as Street Fighter. The thing is, Marvel vs. Capcom bombed with their last game, so I know they kind of can't make it. They got dropped from Evo. That's a really bad look.
Bad taste in the mouth. Yeah. All right. So, Brandon, before we go, I asked you what was the best movie. What's the worst movie you ever saw for medium popcorn?
Oh, okay. Worst movie was Collateral Beauty. It's this movie with Will Smith, Edward Norton, Kate Winslet. It is so bad. My co-host and I actually, it's one of the few movies we saw together. And I remember walking out the theater just like, I hated every single moment of that. I hated it so much. I wanted to stab myself. Like, it's just... And the whole review, we're just screaming. We're just screaming about how bad it is.
I want to hear that episode, Collateral Beauty. All right.
Collateral Beauty was a nightmare. And then in regards to best movie we've actually ever reviewed, I would say if I'm going off like the past, like this year, especially for folks that are looking for a new movie, I would recommend Loose. It's with Octavia Spencer, and I'm blanking on the young man's name, but he's a phenomenal actor. He was also in Waves with Sterling K. Brown. And it was a really good movie. It's kind of creepy. It's got Naomi Watts and the Australian dude from all the Quentin Tarantino movies, Tim Roth.
Nice.
It's really solid. It's really good.
Oh, cool. Great. So I love the podcast because it gives you good ideas of what to watch and maybe what to watch with like some friends with some drinks because they're not good. But thank you, man. Thank you very much for joining us.
Thanks for having me, guys.
This was a blast. John, thank you as always for being here with us.
Yeah, Brandon, it's good to see you. You look well. You look healthy. I'm glad.
Stay healthy.
Say hello to your beautiful wife.
Yeah.
Your beautiful house.
Special thanks to all our wonderful patrons who help make this thing possible. You know who you are. You're amazing people. And for everybody else, if you could chip in a few bucks at tickets.non-productive.com, we throw all the money back to our guests and for our producer who likes to interrupt with Sonic news. No, despite that, actually do chip in. It'll be fun, and it helps us keep doing live comedy and live arts, and keeping the lights on. But thank you all. I think that's about it. We don't have. I thought maybe we had some end music to play off. Do we? Do we have something crazy?
We have normal end music, but I queued up something special for John, and I'm gonna play us off with that.
Oh, all right, good. I'm excited about it. Good night, everybody. Is it the despair of silence? Is that what?
The button.
The
No, hang
despair of... Your buttons are sticking? Hey.
God.
Just listen to it. Just keep an open mind. Both of our mother's names are Martha.
Oh, all right. That's a good reason to keep it going. James, did it not work?
I forgot to share audio. All right, we're going. We're going.
1991.
4 years.
Welcome to Atlantis Way, under down under. The sky's always yellow in rain or shine.
Goodbye, everybody. You can at least make it full screen.
Yeah,
That's the show, man.
Jimmy Dingo was...
I love that Brandon laugh.
Talking about the kiwi, the bush rats, everyone's saying about. Because he was like an afterthought on his own show.